What is up? Welcome to Talking Touchdowns, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined today by Kurt. And Kurt, a lot of talk in the chat about you today. They're saying, they're asking, they want to say, why is Kurt's photo his fraternity photo? And our guy, JC Zargo, who of course will be on the rundown with us on Monday, says he should use the one from the West Virginia football days.
I had them put that on the college football show earlier on when I had to do a couple of them. They used that fat photo, so it was nice. Maybe we should pop that out again.
Yeah,
every once in a while, keep everyone on their toes.
We might have to do that, but of course we are. Even though the Wednesday show is picking winners, that's what we're going to do here today when we're talking touchdowns. And we have quite the interesting NFL slate this weekend. You know, Kurt, I'm more of an NFL guy. I actually think the college slate might be a little more interesting this weekend with all the great games we have on tap for college football. But of course, it's Sunday. The NFL is king, and that's what people want to talk about. Let's dive right in. We'll be bringing in Tyler real soon here. He had a late night last night, but he will be joining us, giving us the winners. And of course, for all of Tyler's thoughts on runpuresports.com, check out the NFL playbook where, we give the projections. He gives you the best props and his breakdown of the games. But let's start. New York Jets +3 in Minnesota, taking on the Vikings, total 44.5. Kurt, I think this is a tough one here. I do like the Vikings at home. My projections like the Vikings at home. But I wonder how Justin Jefferson is going to do against Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed here, two of the best corners in the league. Will the Vikings be able to run the ball against this Jet team? What do you think here when the Jets take on the Vikings?
1 o'clock time slot at home. These Vikings are rolling. I'm going to have to side with the home team, the Vikings here. I think they're playing good. I mean, I know I'm a hater for them, but like I said, I don't like them when they go against the other superior NFC teams. But in this matchup, I know the Jets are good. They're having a great year, but I think home field advantage in the 1 o'clock time slot for old Kirky is going to be just enough to cover here.
Yeah, that was the way I was leaning to, but these Jets team, it's tough to get a handle on. What do you think of Mike White coming into the lineup? Obviously, anyone's going to be better than Zach Wilson, but last year Mike White came in, looked fantastic, right? The Mike White experience, and then completely regressed in week 2 after they got a little bit of film on him. What do you expect from Mike White this week? Because I remember he did kind of break the slate last week, and I know that some of us at Run Pure did not like that idea. I know that Big T and those guys didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gunslinger. We all knew what he was. He'll have games like that, and then he'll have games where he throws a couple picks. But I think he's just a gunslinger. He's going to have some games where he looks really good against these sus defenses, and they'll have some games where superior defenses, you get more film on him, and then he'll just look like a guy just turning the ball over like crazy. But I kind of saw that. I threw him in a couple of GPPs. Wasn't too surprised. I think the receivers are really glad to have him there, to be honest with you. You got old Flacco, who's dusty. You got Wilson, who just sucks. So at least White will go out there and give you a chance one-on-one. I think they really like that. So I don't mind targeting. Wilson was a king last week at cheap. Now, I can go right back. It seemed like Elijah Moore was happy to have another quarterback in the lineup. So I don't mind having 3,700. Since I like the Vikings, I'm going to like these pass catchers. And we got Michael Carter out again. So last week, I'm pretty sure Robinson was a healthy scratch. That was weird. So if Robinson's active and he's a starting running back, 5,200, going to catch a lot of passes. I like that right there. This is a pretty tasty game. You got Dalvin Cook only 7,200. Oof. I hate how much I like this game for DFS. I always like Hawkinson. I've been targeting him. He's been doing good for me. Usually that mid-tier price range. I don't like going too cheap. Just give me 10 and I'll be happy. Yeah, I kind of like this one.
All right. Talk to me about that Zach Wilson deal, right? What would happen in one of your locker rooms if the quarterback did not take any credit for the loss? I mean, have you ever seen anything that lacks self-awareness from a guy that's supposed to be a leader?
You just kind of brush it off, and it's just you just won't fuck with him. I mean, you're not going to go out of your way to be a dick or anything, but he's not going to be someone you go out of your way to actually support. You'll just kind of just dust it off and just be like, all righty then. At least that's how I would approach it. It's pretty shitty of him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, what they have 6 first downs, and it wasn't my fault.
My fault. Yeah, the defense
played
great.
The offense, bro, leader of the offense there.
So bad.
I think that you know what? It's funny. It's almost like I bet you when Saleh heard that, he said, "Thank God," because now, right? I'm sure he wanted to make that move before, But now he finally had a reason. He can go to the owners or whoever drafted him high and said, yeah, look, I know you guys have drafted this guy number 2, but did you hear this interview? Because this is absolutely ridiculous here. So anything more from this game before we move on?
Not much. I'm surprised how much I like it for DFS, to be honest. You don't want to go crazy, but I do think there's a lot of pieces here that could.
Is there a way to get Jefferson in, or is he too expensive again?
I've not seen the value totally, but I just don't. I mean, I love Jefferson, and if he's going to be coming super owned, obviously if MME is in play, but like 8,900 again in that matchup, a game I think they're going to be able to kind of control the tempo in the game. So not really something I'll go out of my way for unless he's coming in at like something crazy percentage and I can get him in MME.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think that even at that high price, people are going to try and fit him in, but I think it just hampers your build so much when you do that. You really got to hope that a lot of 5 and 6K guys just go off for that build to go ahead and get home. Speaking about getting home, the Baltimore Ravens once again couldn't get across the finish line, this time blowing the lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars. For me, it was fun to see because I like Trevor Lawrence, and I want him to be good. I want him to be that player. And it was like we're finally seeing flashes, right? We saw a couple at the beginning of the year, but boy, to put up that game-winning drive against the Baltimore Ravens. But the Ravens now, they've done this 4 times this season where they've blown this type of lead. Now they're playing the Broncos. Well, we talked about an unpopular quarterback. I wonder who's less popular in the locker room, Kurt. Russell Wilson or Zach Wilson, right? Because at least Zach Wilson's not getting $200 million to be a jerk.
Yeah, I would go Wilson because he's just annoying. And it's he has expectations. I mean, Wilson does. I mean, he was a high pick, so he has expectations, but he's just a douchebag. Wilson goes out of his way to be annoying, and it's just how much money he's getting, and it's oh my gosh. Tough scene out there in Denver. They are really fucked for the next couple years. Actually,
yeah, I thought that, Arizona really blew it when they signed Kyler, but it turned out that Denver made the worst quarterback move of the offseason. Of course, it wouldn't be that crazy if you turn it around, but I listened to a lot of pods, and the scouts are saying, hey, it's not like this guy was ever a pocket passer to begin with. He really relied on his athleticism and his ability to make things happen when the play is breaking down. Now that's not there because, you just lose that little step, almost like the NBA, right? You're blown by everyone, and everyone's so fast. Yeah. You lose a step, and now all of a sudden you're ineffective as a point guard. Maybe Russell's having some of those same issues. We're not seeing some of those magical plays. And also, I think that we also have to give credit to maybe Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, right? Maybe they make things a little easier there for quarterback with number 1 Lockett getting open, and then, of course, Metcalf having that huge catch radius and being able to make contested catches left and right. So, Denver Broncos have been pretty easy to fade this year. Going under on their games has been pretty easy to fade. They're catching 9.5 against Baltimore, and I think the books did a good job here, right? Because while Baltimore is a tough team, it's not like that they have this super explosive offense. So we're not super eager to lay double digits. My original thought is to play the under, and of course, if this game goes under, we'll have less DFS interest. But what are your thoughts on the Ravens and the Broncos?
I'm going to go the Broncos come out pissed off. I mean, I saw the graphic of how many leads they've blown. I'm sure they have
Ravens come off
pissed off. Sorry, not the Broncos. The Broncos are ass. But the graphic about how many leads they've blown. So I'm going to come out here. Baltimore's going to rout them 10, 13, 17-point game. Denver won't be able to move the freaking ball because they suck. Baltimore defense getting healthier, but then they look like that last week. I think they're going to come out pissed off. So give me the Ravens here. And man, this is a game
I do. You just fade this game, or is this that get different spot?
As I always say, you'll have, even in a bad matchup, you'll have your Lamar and Andrew stacks just in case. But the running back's a mess. Denver's on the defense, you really love to attack. So that's about it for me. You can cross it off mostly.
All right,
But I will say this Baltimore secondary is looking sus. But it's the Broncos, and Sutton might be a cash play, 5,500.
All right, Sprite Soda says best tight end this week, please, guys. We'll get to that at the end, but I think that tight ends are really who you're considering in this game if you do play DFS. I know that we've liked Dulcich a lot, and then, of course, Mark Andrews. Why don't you talk about the tight end position real quick?
Yeah, I like Dulcich. I've been going back to him. It's not appearing on as far as he's not producing big fantasy point games, but the routes, the target share, all that stuff is pretty nice for 3,400. And this is a matchup they'll have to be passing. The secondary has been sus. Andrew 6,600. Not the best matchup, but also not the worst. I think it might be a good time to just kind of plug him in at 6,600 because that feels so cheap for him. And you got Hawkinson, I like too. Kittle is just, you never know what you're going to get with Kittle. 5K, take a stab, but I would rather just pay up to Hawkinson because I feel like a 30-point Hawkinson game is just so due.
All right, there you have it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are pick'em against the Atlanta Falcons in a game with a total of 42. And let's bring in our Pennsylvania Pittsburgh expert, Tyler. How are you doing? We just talked about the Jets and the Vikings and then the Broncos and the Ravens. Real quick, you want to just sum up if you have plays on either of those games? I didn't love either of them from a betting perspective. I do kind of like the Vikings, and I know our projections did as well, but I wasn't necessarily rushing to back Kirk Cousins in that team. Was there any plays that you would want to give out on either the Jets, Vikings, or the Broncos, Ravens, Tyler?
No, just tease the Broncos or tease the Ravens down. I'm leaving the other game alone. I can't back Kirk Cousins against a team that generates pressure with 4 guys.
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense. How do you think that Sauce Gardner will do against Justin Jefferson?
I mean, by the way, the other elite corners have done in this league against them pretty good.
All right, interesting. Let's talk about the team that's closest to where you live, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Yinzers have to be excited after that win over Indianapolis, but let's be honest, it's a win over Indianapolis. Now they're taking on the Falcons, who had a chance but couldn't get it done against the Commanders. Mariota's bad. I'm surprised they have a rookie quarterback and they're just not giving him a run. He must look really bad in practice for them not to make that replacement. This game's a pick 'em. Total's 42. Tyler, what are your thoughts here, man? I think this is an easy game to just stay away from a betting perspective. Am I missing value?
No, it's Steelers are pass for me. I mean, TJ Watt's still in there on the defense. They should be able to pressure Mariota. They were able to slow down the Colts offense. The Falcons are a little bit worse. I could see them winning this game pretty easily.
All right. Kurt, what are your thoughts here on the Steelers and the Falcons?
Give me Pittsburgh. I just think Watt being back makes a difference. The offense sucks. They don't have their prize decoy anymore. Yeah, give me Pittsburgh for just those reasons alone. And as far as
did you just call Kyle Pitts their prized decoy?
Oh yeah, baby.
Wow. That sounds something for fishing and hunting, not NFL breakdowns.
Third pick decoy, baby. Yeah, so that's all I got here. Not too much interest for DFS. I mean, London's 4,700. You can take a stab if you're multi-entering, but he's like a last piece option because obviously you're not going to stack him.
Do you even want to play him? I mean, he doesn't get any targets.
No, it's just if he falls in your lap at the last piece, I could see him falling in the end zone. But not a play I'll go out of my way to get. I mean, Atlanta's been really bad in the secondary. I think I still kind of have somewhat belief in Pickett. So you can do a little pick and stack if you want.
All right, Tyler, since we've done the playbook, the Tennessee Titans have taken money. It was plus 5.5 when we talked about this game earlier this week. It's plus 4.5 now, total of 44. Not necessarily surprised. Even if you like the Eagles to win, it's tough to see Mike Vrabel getting blown out here. But it's an interesting matchup. Both teams are going to like to run the ball. Maybe that's another reason why they expect this. Of course, I'm sure Mangone talked about the A.J. Brown revenge game. Actually, I saw that, so I know he did. You did a great job on picking winners, by the way, and we'll go into one of the games that you really liked later there. But anyways, Titans plus 4.5, total 44. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this one, I'm probably going to stay away from it just because I think it could go either way. I can see the Titans keeping it close on the ground. I can see the Eagles opening it up with the 3 wide receivers set and throwing it on this defense. So probably a stay away for me, but if you had to pin me down, give me the Titans plus the 5.5.
Yeah, it's down to 4.5, which is why, and I know that's a dead number, but it just sucks when you miss the prices like that. Kurt, what are your thoughts here when the Titans play the Eagles? What's that face for? Did you just see some EuroLeague news that you didn't like?
No, I'm not even paying attention. Fucking, I've had a bad 2 days. But, man, this feels like a really big trap game to me. I don't really know if I want to touch it as far as betting goes.
My projections love the Eagles. And I love Mike Vrabel, so it was like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
4.5 is just such an interesting. I mean, it makes sense, but damn, I don't know. I think this will be a good game, though. I think it'll be a really good game. I definitely want to have this one on one of the TVs for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one of the most interesting games, I'd say for sure. It's just,
I mean, this is going to be a freaking dogfight. If Tannehill can just make a couple plays. This will be a fucking dogfight that I want to watch. I'll continue to say it. I mean, this Eagles team, they need big boy back. They need Jordan Davis. I'm pretty sure that's his name. The big boy. They need him back. He was just – it's like when the Bucks lose Vita Vea. Our running game becomes just straight up ass. We have good linebackers, but without him stuffing and taking up every single double team because he's amazing and fast, it just kills you. They need him back, and a matchup with King Henry – I always say he loves this time of the year. I think Davis might be close to coming back, though, so we'll definitely have to monitor that. A good real-life game to watch. I don't really have too many pieces. You got Smith, who's questionable. Not sure what's going on there. I usually like to attack Mike Vrabel's secondary. So Hurt, Smith, all of them, definitely good to go. But Henry, if Jordan Davis is continue to be out, definitely interests me.
Is Derrick Henry viable?
Yeah, 8,100. Yeah, I like the price. Like I said, I want Jordan Davis to continue to be out. If he is, I'll have a share.
All right, Tyler. Anything more on the Titans and the Eagles before we move on?
No, that's pretty much it for me on that one.
All right, let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are -1 in Detroit, taking on the Lions. Total 51.5. Of course, we mentioned earlier Jacksonville getting that great comeback. Trevor Lawrence looking good against the Baltimore Ravens. Now they head to Detroit. The defense isn't as good, but if there's one thing we can count on from the Jaguars is that they'll let us down when we start to believe in them. Tyler, I'm starting to believe in them. Are they going to let me down?
I don't think so. I mean, the Jags off that emotional win over the Baltimore Ravens, scoring that 2-point conversion late. Detroit at home, I think they have the better weapons in this matchup. Etienne, he's banged up also. Detroit, we could be getting back rookie wide receiver Jameson Williams here too, which just gives them another weapon to throw the ball to. So getting them at plus money at home, give me the Lions here to win this game outright. I think the Jags come out flat after that big win.
All right, so Tyler likes the Lions. Who do you like, Kurt?
I'm going to go Lions too, just for the same exact reasons. A big emotional win. Detroit is just playing – God, they deserved to win last week, man. They're just so hungry for it. Back at home, the running game might be in shambles. I don't think was it Hasty who had a great game last week? Yeah, I don't think that with the whole – oh, God. It was in the receiving game. Yeah, I think Detroit will be prepared for that. Give me the Lions, man. They got one stolen from them on Thanksgiving. It really hurt.
Yeah.
Man, if they can add Jameson Williams to this offense, DeAndre Swift has ever not made of glass. Just 1 year, just not made of glass. This team could be fun in that dome.
I mean, the fact is they have some of the worst defensive personnel in the league. They're gonna have to fix that.
They got Rodrigo though. They got Rodrigo, baby.
Who? Rodrigo?
That little 5'4" linebacker, little midget fuck is really good, I think.
There's a 5'4" linebacker?
He looks it. He looks 5'4". He's a dog.
Have you ever not blocked a 5'4" linebacker and then just got completely roasted by your teammates?
They're hard to get. They're just like so short. But when you do cover them up, you can just fall down and they'll just crumble. But they're tough. They'll just like juke you out or something. It's like, whoa, what just happened? And then they're by you. That's why you got to make sure. You got to make sure that they cross you. Like if you're going to go at one, you got to make sure you're on like his right side where the ball is going. That way, if they do get around you, they still got to go whoop. Because then little fuckers are fast, man.
Yeah, when I was in high school, my buddy was a linebacker and he was like 5'6", but the dude was just absolutely insane. Like if he would have been 6 foot, he could have played at the college level. You know, I mean, he just had all the right attributes. Just a little
muscle hamster.
Small. Yeah. The Washington Commanders are -2 in New York, taking on the Giants. Total of 40.5. Tyler, I think this is an interesting game. The Commanders, right? We thought they were like at the bottom of our power rankings for a long time. Then they made that switch to Carson Wentz, right? And the team really rallied around Heineke. Really shows that, you know, it's not just physical traits that make a quarterback, but leadership and control of the locker room. But you saw the whole team really just come alive behind Heineke, and it's his team now. And once again, right, it's almost like, boy, what if you just played him the whole year? And so that's an interesting spot here for the Commanders. The New York Giants, though, seems like it's a buy low spot, right? JJ always talks about buying low on teams. Obviously, a couple tough weeks, you know, the terrible loss to the Lions, and then they lose to the Cowboys. They did cover, which we called here on Talking Touchdowns, but they didn't, you know, get the win outright. So they're coming off 2 losses in a row, almost like a mini playoff game here for the New York Giants. I kind of like the Giants here, but I think when we talked about this one earlier, you disagreed. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like Washington here. I just think the Giants are going in the opposite direction of Washington. Washington seems to be getting better. The Giants, I mean, they're missing receivers, so they're not really moving the ball. outside of running it, this Washington front seven's their better unit. It's not going to be very easy to run it against them if they limit Barkley and Jones on the ground. I don't trust Jones' arm to beat this Washington defense. And if you leave the Giants defense on the field too much, yeah, they're a good unit.
Well, who's better, Daniel Jones or Heineke?
I think Heineke.
What do you think, Kurt?
Give me Jones.
I don't think it's all that like big of a difference. But
no, it's
if I had to pick, give me Heineke.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just said you weren't trusting Jones, but I'm like, are we trusting Heineke that much too?
Yeah, that was pretty much it that I had on that game, though.
All right, Kurt. I interrupted Tyler. Ruined the flow. I won't do that with you. Break it down.
So the one way to attack this Washington defense is in the secondary, and I mean all these receivers are hurt. I'm not sure Jones will have enough time for these receivers to get the separation they need to get. They're like the Washington secondary is not that good, but they can hold you down for like 2, 3, 4 seconds. And Young, the fat guy they got in the middle from Alabama, Jonathan Williams, like they're in your face. So I'm going to go Washington to cover the spread here. I think the offense can do just enough. I think that pass rush can get home and really fluster Jones.
All right, DFS, who are we looking at? Swoop saying Barkley's going to be low owned. You know I love Saquon. What do you think?
I think this could be one of the weeks where he gets there on like dump offs and shit like that. You know, like having like an 8 catch, like 60-yard game, and then maybe he falls in the end zone once. It could be like that type of game for him because the pass rush is going to be in their face. The same thing with Dallas. Like Dallas pass rush is good too, but man, Barkley really let me down on Thanksgiving. But I do think this is a different type of game, and I think he will be able to catch those dump offs. That's really all I have interest in. You got Gibson, who's questionable. We'll take a shot on Robinson if Gibson's rolled out, because I'm pretty sure it would just be Jonathan Williams and
no love for the receivers on the Washington side.
Scary Terry. I mean, I don't mind it, but
I mean, since Heineke's been back, you have to consider McLaurin every week, right?
Yeah, he's probably due for a touchdown. I'll throw him in.
He loves him like you love EuroLeague.
That's true. He does, but I don't know. I'm not gonna make him a priority. I'm sure, like come Sunday, I'll have a share of him, but like I'm not gonna make that a priority. And if you're only doing 1 or 3 lineups, I don't think piece in this game is. You shouldn't force a piece in this game.
All right. Anything else from this game, Tyler? Before we move on.
No, that's it.
All right. Let's talk about the return of Deshaun Watson to the National Football League. And I'm sure, I'm sure this happened at random, right? Here's my idea, right? They did this to just get it all out of the way right off the bat, right? So Deshaun Watson is playing his old team. So rather than have the Deshaun Watson return and then the Deshaun Watson return to Houston, be 2 separate news stories, they're just like, let's do it all at once, get rid of all the protests, this and that. So I don't necessarily think it's the worst move by the NFL, but here's the issue with this game. First of all, we have no idea how Watson's going to play. He's been out of the NFL for a long time, and during his time in the preseason, he definitely looked rusty with the time off. And then secondly, the Texans just aren't very good. He might not even need to be good. Why won't they? I mean, I could see them winning, and he could have one of those Mariota 18 attempt performances, right? And just give the ball to Nick Chubb all the way, and they still put up 30 points against the Houston Texans defense. They can't stop the run. And then, of course, they're missing their best corner in Derek Stingley Jr., and that gives maybe Amari Cooper some options there with Watson. Tyler, I hate to be square, but it seems like Browns are past to me. Talk to me about this game. Talk to me about the brouhaha surrounding Deshaun Watson. If you want to have a take on that, or if you want to completely ignore that, that's fine as well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Browns here. I would lay the 7 if I had to, but I'd rather just tease them down the 1, just in case Houston has a little bit extra added motivation with Watson coming back to play them. But the thing is, too, when you look at this roster.
Do they, though? Like, I don't think the team disliked him at all.
Well, that's what I was getting to. I was like, the guys on this roster, I don't think a lot of guys played with him.
Yeah,
a lot of the guys that he played with aren't there anymore. So it's like,
yeah, that's true.
I think they'll be better, or I think Cleveland will be able to take control of this game. Chubb will be able to just run down their throat. They're a terrible run defense. I like him today because I think they kind of limit Watson's throwing in his first game back. I could see Chubb exploding for 2 touchdowns, 100-plus yards. We talked about that on Wednesday with Holden Mangone. That was my favorite of the top expensive running backs would be Chubb this week. I think he's due for that crazy big game.
Oh, there we go. He's taking a stand. He says that Chubb's the best spend up at running back. What do you think, Kurt?
I hate them just lockstep with Tyler and everything I say. But like, first of all, let's address this. Watson's not priced like he's priced like someone playing Houston, but he's not priced like a guy who's not played football in like 30 years. 6,500 is giving us really no discount there. And I don't really want to do it because I think they're not going to come out and just have him like throw a shit ton. I think they're just going to be like, okay, this is one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Let's run Chubb like 30 times and get out of Houston. You know what I'm saying? Let's not make any big hoopla. Let's not put a lot on his shoulders. Chubb gives us the promised land. Let's get the fuck out of here. That's what I think is going to happen. I think he'll just do some play action throws. Might have a couple play action bombs because the running game is going to be cooking. But I don't think they're going to ask him to do too much. Cleveland comes out, gets the win. Chubb 2 touchdowns. And they won by 7. Exactly what Tyler said, but I have to agree.
All right. So yeah, I don't know. Anything more from that game, Tyler? Do you have any props that you liked? Just going Chubb. Any Kareem Hunt? I mean, any other ways to approach it?
No, I'm just straight chubbing this game all the way. All his props is touchdown and win. And the only other thing, too, is he said Watson isn't priced like a quarterback that hasn't played in 2 years. I think it's the fact that he's like a top 3 scoring fantasy quarterback, regardless of not playing the last 2 years. So it's like, you price him at $5K, he comes out, he just does what he's done the last few years, and he just destroys the entire slate. So
here's the thing, though. Like, he only got to practice, 1 week? Was it before
preseason?
I think he got to start practicing with the team like 2 weeks ago because I remember going into the game with the Buccaneers. There was talk that, hey, now he's allowed to practice with the team again. Will this hamper their preparation for the Bucs because will they be splitting snaps with Brissett, just to get ready for him to be back?
So here's the thing. Like, obviously these receivers have caught passes from him. They ran routes. They have some chemistry, but like, they've been catching. They have all the timing. They've been catching all these passes. They've been running. Like, all these routes have been with Brissett, and Brissett throws a different ball. Like, it's just different. So I'm just questionable. Really, I mean, you can have one Watson, Cooper, Stack, stuff like that. But like for props, I don't mind taking the unders on all this passing game because what if it's just a little bit? It's a game of inches. One little thing. Like, he throws the ball not where Brissett throws it. The guy's not ready for it. Blah blah blah. Not really worried about that with Cooper as much because he's world class. But like, it's just a time thing. Huh?
Is he? I'm not a big Amari Cooper guy. I got the
Raiders. He's a world-class route runner, period. You can say what you want about him, but he's one of the elite route runners.
What is his hand? What is his hands there? He's
not terrible. Slightly above average.
Don't let that one drop last week dwell in your mind, Spread.
Oh, trust me. I have plenty of Amari Cooper drops dwelling in my mind, and I'm sure Cowboys fans do as well.
Tough scene for Amari. But yeah, so that's why I would go a little bit lower on the passing game, especially with these other receivers.
I remember when we first drafted him, I was like, this guy's going to be – I thought he was going to be like a Devontae Adams, like a top 5 wide receiver in the league. And he
had a couple games.
Yeah. He's – no, and like it's funny. From daily fantasy, you can never ignore him, right? Because he does have that ceiling potential that's just so high. It's just, boy, you watch him, certain games, he just kills you. The Uncle T and JT were always arguing. JT Hayes will always say he sucks on the road too. So we'll see if that.
Yeah, I've heard that little nugget about how he just does not play well on. That's weird. That's been with
his
him.
home run splits are like NBA.
Okay, we the people just said that in the chat too. He said Cooper's ass on the road.
It's been with 3 different teams too, so it's like, what is it? What's he doing when he goes out of town, bro?
Yeah, he must be having a great time. You should go hang out with him, Kurt. All right, the Green Bay Packers are -3 in Chicago, taking on the Bears. Justin Fields going to play? Is Aaron Rodgers going to play? Do we have the news here, Tyler? I know that we're waiting on that.
Yeah, it's still up in the air on both guys. With every NFL team playing this week, I'm leaving this game alone. I'm like putting a single dollar into this game. You don't know how much motivation you're getting out of Rodgers if he's even going to play. You don't know how good Fields' shoulder is, even if he steps on the field. So Chicago should be able to run the ball against Green Bay. Green Bay is always beating Chicago. It's just a weird spot with a bunch of cloudiness around that I'd probably stay away from. If I was betting anything here, I'm just teasing Chicago up to 9.5. I don't see Green Bay blowing anyone out.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you think about that, Kurt?
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. Like, we don't know who's going to play. We don't know what's going on in this game. It's too early to tell. Both defenses have really bad running games, so once we get the news, we can kind of attack that. Is Herbert back yet? Let me see. He's on the IR. Jesus Christ. Whew, it's going to be hard.
Hey, if Rodgers misses. Are you going to be a Love child, Kurt? Would there be any interest in some Jordan Love in your roster?
I don't really love too much. He would really have to get some rushing.
What'd you think of his little mop up performance there when he played the other night?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
I think it was better than I thought. Than
I think it definitely made the Packers fans have some hope for the future. So that's nice, good for them. But I think if it does come down to Love, and then maybe no Fields, but these teams will just run the hell out of the ball. So I'll have some interest in the running game, and I continue to get fucked by Allen Lazard. I can't help it. It's a problem.
Just leave those wide receivers alone, Kurt.
Yeah, it's not a game you target these wide receivers. No, you should. But mostly in Showdown. He screwed me in Showdown. But yeah, in Classic, I'm just targeting the running game. I agree with Tyler.
All right, let's move on because I think that game's tough to handicap until we know the news for sure. If I had to guess, though, I would guess that both men are going to end up playing. Seattle Seahawks are -7 taking on the Rams. I'll bet you they thought this game was going to be fun when they scheduled it. Not so much anymore. Total of 41. The Seahawks, man, they were such a fun story. They've kind of regressed. They lost to the Raiders. I mean, hey, I'm a Raiders fan. Yay, we got the win. But, boy, that's not good. Let's see what Kenneth Walker is able to do. Geno Smith kind of regressing to what we expected there. And then the Rams have just been absolutely terrible. I don't know if I've ever seen a Super Bowl champion ever play so badly. And Tyler, you've been calling it for years, but this is the year it came true. They're too thin. They're top heavy. You can't build this like an NBA roster. It's almost like, I don't know, who is it? I can't remember his name, but it's almost like him and Rob Pelinka are just hanging out. Hey, let's just get 2 stars and put a bunch of scrubs there. What do you think here about the Seahawks laying 7 on the road, though?
Go to Kurt first. I got a rogue puppy upstairs that won't stop barking. I don't want to hear that in the background.
Oh, my gosh. These dogs, my neighbors. Okay, go ahead, Kurt.
What was the line? I'm sorry, I'm looking at it for fantasy perspective. What's the line here?
-7. Total 41.
Kind of sneaky over spot there. Most people are going to love the under. I'll probably wait till Sunday. I feel like, don't you think that will get bet down? Especially with Stafford.
I don't know, though, because Seattle's defense, it was like terrible the first 4 weeks, and then it was like elite the second 4 weeks, and now it seems like it's back to being terrible.
Yeah, but I just don't know if people were going to be like, oh, okay, Bryce Perkins is definitely going to be able to. I like Bryce Perkins. I think he's serviceable.
What do we know about him, Kurt?
He can run. That's it. He can pass decent. I thought he looked pretty decent last week. And it looks like might get a Kyron Williams bell cow roll. I kind of like this for a little cheap little stack in the afternoon.
What's the stack?
Kyron Williams and Bryce Perkins. Maybe they get both 1 rushing touchdown each, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I can go Perkins. But I do like Kyron Williams if he's the bell cow, 5,200 catch passes. If he stays healthy. You target running backs against Seattle. Williams, 5,200. He's slow, but, if he's going to be getting all the work, anything can happen.
All right. Tyler, you're back. Did you take care of that dog? I wish I could take care of my neighbor's dog. Yeah, it's like I live in my neighborhood's like a kennel now. Unbelievable.
Yeah, puppies in the living room barking up a storm. Like
just a public service announcement. Don't buy a dog if you're not going to walk it. To buy a dog and just a big dog and just have it sit in a really small yard 24 hours a day is cruel. And it should not happen. Tyler, let's go to you. The Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks.
I couldn't bet any of your guys' money on the Rams right now. That's how bad they are.
Hey, yeah.
I couldn't bet my worst enemy's money on the Rams right now. But again, I don't want to lay 7 with the Seahawks team that I think is slowly starting to come back down to earth. But I think a good way to test it out is just to tease it down to 1 and see if they can win this game outright. They should very easily be able to do that. You got a couple other teaser spots on the board. If they can't beat this Rams team outright, who's hanging on by their pinky to any hope they have this year, then something's wrong with this Seattle team. A lot of these wins were flukes. So I'm going to test them out. I'm going to tease them down to 1 and see if they can win this game.
All right. So you talked about some teasers earlier. Who would you say we should match them with? I know you mentioned the Ravens as a potential teaser partner. Any other games that we talked about? Do we even need to tease the Browns, or do we just lay the 7 there?
No, I would tease them. I would tease them with the Browns. I'd tease them with the Ravens. I'm getting the playbook pulled back up to see who else we would tease them with.
And you know what's weird though
I don't
is the road favorites for that. And I know these aren't the pure Wongs because it's 7 and not 7.5, but whoop-de-doo. The road favorites on the teasers are the weakest leg of those Stanford Wongs.
Yeah, and then I also don't hate pairing them with the Lions and not bouncing them up to around over a touchdown.
All right. I see a lot of people talking about my public service announcement in the chat. I'm going to ask you what this means on Monday. What do I love to take care of? We'll get to that on Monday when our guy Daddy Zarks joins us on the NBA Rundown. We'll go chronological order, but this is the game I want to talk about the most. And I'm still a little under the weather. That's why you see me knocking the camera off here and there and muting myself as I'm coughing. But boy, I was not feeling good on Wednesday, Tyler. So you jumped in for me on picking winners. And I thought, boy, maybe today's bad, but that was a great decision because you really illustrated the points that I wanted to make with Travis, because I know you guys are on opposite sides of that game on the reasons that you like the San Francisco 49ers over the Miami Dolphins. 3.5 seems a lot here, but the Niners have one of the best defenses in the league. Will the good offense beat the good defense? How do you expect the 49ers and the Dolphins?
I think it's blowout season. I damn sure think it's blowout season now because I see that Teron Armstead is ruled out for Sunday.
Okay.
Injury. If he's out, this offensive line couldn't move the ball against Houston last week. Mind you, they were up 30, but you should still be able to run the ball and keep drives going. They couldn't even do that. They couldn't even get a first down. All of a sudden, Houston was starting to score points. They looked like they were going to crawl back into that game before they were able to just run the clock out and get that game over with. Now you play a San Fran team whose defense is on a whole nother level than what they just played. Tua really hasn't played much of a threat in a while. He played Houston, Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Minnesota. The last real good team he played was the Jets. So, and I don't even think he played that game. I believe that was Skylar Thompson. So he's been in a very soft spot. It's the hardest defense he's played in a long time. I do remember when he played Baltimore, he looked bad up until that second half. I don't see that happening here against the San Fran defense led by DeMeco Ryan. They've gave up 0 second half points in, I believe, the last 3 weeks. Give me the Niners here. I think this looks similar to what Dallas did to Minnesota a few weeks ago. I think they come in, I think they pound them, and they surprise a lot of people.
All right. So just so you guys know, I agree with Tyler there. I like the Niners. What do you think there, Kurt?
I agree. Even with all like the questionable tags on like McCaffrey, I'm pretty sure he's good to go. And they put
he even said he's good to go, full go. Like he said that.
And they put Mitchell. Oh, it's going to be Mitchell's been looking good, but he's out. But man, full workload for C-Mac potentially for the first time. That might have Miami in trouble. So give me the 49ers at home. I think they kind of hit this Miami team in the mouth. You know me, offensive line being out. Yeah, it's big to me. So.
All right, so the Miami stacks have been absolutely awesome this year in DFS. Is this the week to finally get away from them?
No, I think this is even better. Hopefully they get into a trailing script and you can just get legitimately all passing. We saw that, like the video of Mike McDaniel talking about how I think I'm just going to pass the ball every single drive. If I'm crazy, let me know. So anytime you get a ball, yeah, he's talking to his mic and he's
was
like.
Was that before or after he said Georgia was better than Alabama?
That was after. I'm pretty sure that was pregame. And then this was like in the second quarter or something. So anytime you got a guy who's just going to let Tua.
Is that good coaching there to bag on his alma mater, Kurt? Would that get you fired up?
Oh, this shit. That's all shit talk. I would like it if my coach is like shit talking like that. I think it's fun. And I mean, it's true too. I'm pretty sure Tua knows it's true this year too.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see over the next 10 years.
Would you play Tua or Burrow this week? They're separated by $200.
I like Burrow personally. Who do you like, Kurt?
Just because I saw what Chase was talking shit online, and this is like a big game. I think both teams are going to come out guns a-blazing. I think it's going to be a freaking shootout. Give me Burrow. Whereas I think San Francisco will try to muddy this game up a little bit.
I agree there too. I also think that there is a spot or a path where Tua has like 12 fantasy points. He's sacked like 6 times. He's looking at the sky a lot. The receivers can't get downfield to get open, and this offense is just very limited. So,
those receivers are going to be open. I mean, they can just go on full slant routes.
Yeah, but if all of a sudden they realize, oh, we can get to him in less than a second, like Bosa and these guys are all over him, move the defense up, cut off the slants. These receivers don't have time to beat us deep.
Exactly, I agree with that. But I just feel like I could see him Tua getting sacked so many times and then getting hurt again. Like, what was up with last week? I mean, I know they pulled him because it was a blowout. But then,
I hate to. I didn't want to go with that take, but I
think
definitely
something's
see that
going. Yeah,
happening here.
if they're getting back to him
again,
anytime you can hit Tua that many times, something bad might happen. So, yeah.
All right. On the San Francisco side, is there any players you like for DFS, Kurt?
If you see Max, you get a full workload, man. But there's a lot of 8K running backs I like.
All right, go through the 8K running backs real quick. I think this is the perfect time to do it because Henry's in there, right? Saquon, Chubb. Go through them all and give us some quick rankings for us real quick if you don't mind.
I'm going to go Chubb, Henry if Davis is still out, C-Mac, Barkley, Eckler. Man, actually, no. God, that Raiders matchup is so tasty. I'm going to go Barkley last. Barkley last.
Really? I guess
Chubb,
that makes
Henry.
sense in a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
All right, say them one more time because I keep interrupting. See, I'm feeling better. I'm interrupting everybody.
Chubb, Henry, Eckler, and C-Mac are tied for me. Just depends if you need that $100, then go Eckler, and then Barkley would be last.
All right, there you have it. That's who he likes in the 8K range. Let's talk about that Chargers game. They're +1 in Vegas taking on the Raiders. Tyler, this line moved. When we talked about this game earlier in the week, this team was the Chargers were favored. Now the Raiders are favored. Is this injury news that's causing the line, or do you think it's better's causing the line? I know that we had disagreed when we talked about it. I just was going off the old being a Raiders fan, like, oh, we always beat the Chargers. You know, and I know that's not exactly true, but it just feels like we match up with them so well. I guess my concern would be the 2 overtime games on the road, and then Josh Jacobs having that calf injury. But assuming he's 100%, I don't see how the Raiders don't run the ball here, get the win. It feels like they are trending in the right direction, and I like the way they match up with this team. But I think you like the Chargers. What are your thoughts, or some of this injury news kind of scared you away from the team?
Looking at the injury news, I don't see much that would have moved the line on the Chargers side. I mean, their center left the game with a concussion.
Mike Williams, right?
Yeah, but he was out last game anyway. So unless
but he was questionable at the beginning of the week and he got downgraded.
I still see questionable. He rolled out now, like fully out.
Maybe I'm just trying to find a reason for the line move that I just don't understand. I mean, I guess I like the Raiders, but I didn't think a lot of people would here, especially coming out 2 overtime.
I think I know what it is.
What?
Josh Jacobs became probable. He wasn't supposed to play this game. Remember, everyone was all over the Knight kid to play running back this week.
Yeah,
that could be what moved it, because if he plays, we've seen what he could do in that backfield, especially against a Chargers team that just can't stop the run. I mean, what did he run for 230 yards last week? I'm not going to say he's going to repeat that performance, but against the Chargers defense, he could easily crack 100 here. So definitely like him. As for the side, though, just like you said, the 2 overtime games, I think it's starting to get to this team. Also, how many games can you win with just walk-off plays? Like, you won the Devontae Adams wide open touchdown. Jacobs breaks an 80-yarder for you. You're staying in these games, and the other teams are making mistakes and giving you these chances. Herbert's getting weapons back. He hasn't had an explosion game in a while. What better spot than against a division team like the Raiders, whose defense isn't all that good? I think he throws 4 to 5 touchdowns here in this spot. I think he goes off.
So Tyler likes Herbert in DFS. What do you think?
I went all in on the Cardinals Chargers stack last week. I didn't get overtime and kind of needed it, but still wanted more points than what they
when they were going for 2, were you just throwing stuff around the house? I would have been.
I needed a little bit. I mean, overtime could only give me so much. I was really hoping for a couple more scores there, but that game started out hot and then just died really hard. So overtime probably would have helped a little bit more. Would have definitely got me a little bit more profit. But yeah, I'm going to keep doing it for every Cardinals game and Chargers game. I'm going to stack it up and see what happens. Kind of like how we did for the Detroit early on in the year. Getting weapons back. Vegas having to go just full pass. Give me the Herbert stacks and run it back with like is Holland still 4,600? Been coming through for me. I like that. And you always got a little bit of where's my boy at here? What's he priced at? The tight end. Foster from 3,600. You can run it back with him. Like he's decent, but I like those stacks. 2 receiver stacks with Herbert, run it back with a Vegas pass catcher.
All right. From a betting perspective, you like the Chargers or the Raiders?
Give me the Chargers, San Diego Superchargers.
Charge. All right. Let's see if they charge now or if the Raiders can get their 3rd straight win. Will it be an overtime win? That would be even wilder. All right. The Kansas City Chiefs take on the Cincinnati Bengals. This is actually a pretty good afternoon slate, right, Tyler? We got the Dolphins, Niners, and the Bengals, Chiefs. And then I guess I'll pay some attention to the Raiders and Chargers as well. But these two games are just absolutely fascinating, of course. Rematches, right? So Cincinnati beat the Chiefs last year in the regular season, and then, of course, got the better of them in the AFC Championship game. And, boy, channeling one of my favorite things, my pro wrestling fandom, they've definitely cut some promos on each other this week. Eric Bischoff would be proud. The controversy is creating cash because everybody wants to see this game. The guys are going back and forth in the media. It was already a high-tension game to begin with. Tyler, what are your thoughts when the Bengals take on the Chiefs?
I'm with our guy, We the People, in this game. The more I look at it, I got to stay away from this one. I know it's going to be fun to watch. I'll be using this one as a viewer. I am not putting a single dollar on this game. Kansas City's in a spot where it's like, yeah, they should come out. They should smash this team for what they did to them last year. They've done this before in spots against teams. But you just look at how they've played recently and who they've played recently. They haven't beaten up on these teams very bad. They've just been squeaking out wins. Their offense is pretty limited. It's Kelsey and just a bunch of role-playing receivers. Nobody could really just dominate the field to where when they match up with Cincinnati also, they're 1-6 straight up in their last 7 matchups with this team. They're 0-6 in their last 6 trips to Cincinnati to play, and they're 1-4 ATS in the last 5 matchups. I think this might be one of them cases where, just like your Raiders when they play Denver spread, Cincinnati might just have their number. Cincinnati also has more firepower on the offense here, so even if the Chiefs get out to a little bit of a lead, you could see the Bengals make a comeback and keep this game very close. If you handed me money and said this was the only game I can bet on the board, I'd probably put it on the Bengals money line and trust Joe Burrow to beat Mahomes here. But I'm just going to stay away and watch this game as an entertainment piece this week. I am not putting any money on this one.
So Tyler wants to stay away. I like the Chiefs here, but Tyler makes some good points on why I should stay away. I haven't bet it yet because I just don't see this line moving a lot. I've heard great arguments on both sides, and I've heard sharp people on both sides. Kurt, don't stay on the sidelines. Take a side. I'll pick the Chiefs. Who do you like?
I am hardcore Bengals. The weapons are all back for them. Everyone's healthy. It's just going to come down to them having too many weapons, and KC just does not have enough. It's just going. Patrick Mahomes is going to be. It's going to look like. So instead of offensive line, make it the receivers and everyone else besides Kelsey. Patrick Mahomes trying to do everything he can. He's going to make some great throws. These pass catchers and the supporting cast is not going to come through for him. And then you're going to have Chase, Higgins, Dusty Ass, fucking. Well, hold on. Mixon. Okay, sorry, had a brain fart. Dusty Ass Mixon better than whatever the hell they got going on out there. So for that reason only, I think the Bengals win, and I don't think it's close in the fourth quarter. I think it's like a 10-point game with 5 minutes left, and Bengals have the ball.
So the best quarterback in the world is going to get blown out. That's what you guys are telling me.
That's not a blowout.
Where do you guys rank
double digits in the fourth quarter? Yeah.
Where do you guys rank this Kansas City pass rush up against Dallas, Baltimore, and Cleveland?
It's worse than all 3 of them. Maybe it's the same as Cleveland because Myles Garrett hasn't been the same since that car accident.
Baltimore looks good on paper, but damn, it's not been doing shit lately, dude.
Well, those were the last 3 teams to beat this Cincinnati team. To where the last team to beat this Kansas City team was Buffalo. So it's like it seems like the pass rushes have been what has given Burrow troubles, and with this offensive line starting to gel, this being the worst unit,
he's gonna cook.
I'm starting to lean more towards this Bengals side spread.
Gonna cook.
Yeah, I knew you were going to because I think when we talked earlier, you like the Bengals too. So hey, I guess I'm just too much of the Mahomes homer, but hey, AP's coming on the next show, so he'll definitely like to hear that.
I'm getting fired before the NBA rundown for taking
All right, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts who are taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Colts plus 10.5. This is Sunday Night Football. Total 44.5. Tyler, are we even staying awake for this one? What a dud, huh? What a dud of Sunday Night Football.
How did they let them get in this spot?
How do they not flex it? Isn't that the whole idea of Sundays?
Yeah,
I
thought that's what they were going to do in this spot, but they didn't.
My guess is that CBS can block a flex, right? So I'll bet you that I don't even know who has what, but I'll bet you whoever Dolphins, Niners, right? They're like, we're blocking that.
Yeah, Fox has one of those games.
And so then you look at the morning. So I'll bet you they both blocked the 2 that we liked. And you looked at the morning and what were they going to put on instead? Titans, Eagles?
Yeah, this is.
But the Eagles have been on primetime so much. I guess that's why they just let it ride.
Very simple here for me. I'm just going to, instead of people call it MMA math when you talk about MMA fighters, we're going to use some NFL math here, spread.
Yeah.
These two teams played very similar matchups last week. Dallas played a Giants team that's all run.
That's not MMA math. MMA math is when you say, "Oh,
I know. Well, this guy beats this guy."
Kurt beat Spread, but Spread beat Tyler, so therefore Kurt will beat Tyler.
Yeah, I was getting to that, but I was taking a very long approach at it.
Okay.
Yeah, they played Pittsburgh.
But similar matchups, I think, is smart.
Yeah,
should be doing.
Yeah, again, they played Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh wants to run the ball. They have a defense that they pass rush very well. Matt Ryan was just under hell most of that game. They have one receiver, but the pass defense for Dallas is better than what Pittsburgh thrown at them. So it's like they're going to be able to limit JT similar to how they did Barkley, and they're going to be all over Matt Ryan more than they were Daniel Jones on Thanksgiving because Matt Ryan can't move. They also couldn't stop Najee Harris, Benny Snell, and Anthony McFarland from running the ball on Monday night. What do you think Tony Pollard and Zeke are going to do in this spot? If I'm betting this game, Dallas minus 10.5, but I'm probably going in on like a Pollard touchdown and win or a Zeke touchdown and win.
Kurt, as a man who has almost as much coaching experience as Jeff Saturday, how do you rate his job so far? I mean, former offensive lineman. I mean, maybe you can be the Raiders coach next year. Let me give a call to Mark Davis here.
I'm rooting for him hard, man. And I agree with everything Tyler said. Matt Ryan's a statue. Dallas should eat him up. Everything screams Dallas. Everything. And you know what happens when everything screams Dallas and everything screams cover. The Colts cover. Yeah. Somehow Matt Ryan just gets the ball out in 1 second and it's enough. Jonathan Taylor rips up a couple
190 yards.
And Dak Prescott fumbles, throws a pick, and the Colts return it to the house. Some shit like that. Next thing you know, they cover by like 0.5. So and I'm pretty sure I'm like 75% when I do this, but I'm going to go Colts only because it should not happen.
Okay. And yeah, I know you've been good when you've been doing that. Are you doing the showdown slate this Sunday, the playbook?
Yep. I'll be on this bad boy, and I'm probably gonna get the exact thoughts.
The Pollard MVP showdown spot or captain spot. I guess MVP's FanDuel. What do you think? Who are you looking for captains there?
Anytime you got a guy who can bust like 50-yard touchdowns, definitely going to be my captain option. It really sucks that when they get down. Now, last week they did give him a couple opportunities down there, but when it's that close, it just appears that Zeke is just a little bit better at it.
Doesn't that make sense? So give it to the big slow guy.
Yeah, that's why they have him. He's there to eat up the touchdowns. He's Jamal Williams, the Cowboys.
It was nice. It was nice seeing them give him Pollard a couple cracks inside the 7 or 5. That was nice to see, though. I got to lie. But when it's on the 1 or 2, big Zeke's going in.
I like our guy Big T's approach from last Monday night's game here. Give me Dallas's defense as the captain. I think they absolutely murder Matt Ryan on Monday night or Sunday night. He tried to do it with this team.
What's good about that is they had that freaking returner that I love.
Yeah,
who was that?
Turpin. He can run one back. Carson's going to be all over him. Imagine he runs a pump back and they strip sack Ryan for a touchdown. You're golden.
Yeah, I mean, and if there's another murder, right, then we can play an Atlanta Hawks revenge angle there, Tyler.
Oh my God, that defense is $6,200. That defense is $6,200.
Wow, that's
I will not be touching them, and I'll just bet them to score a touchdown.
And of course, to find Kurt's playbook, you have to remember Run Pure Sports.
Cover your ass. Yeah, I'll be doing the playbook, and I will not be telling you to play a 6,200 defense. I'll just tell you, do your lineups, fade them, bet them to score because they ain't getting there unless they score, unless there's just absolutely no touchdowns. I'd rather you just completely stack the Cowboys and go kickers and shit.
All right. Well, I'm still not back to full health yet, and Richie Smalls didn't remind me to tell you. But hey, let me say. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Of course, check out runpuresports.com as we continue to grow. We continue to make more additions, and it just keeps being a better company to work for. So we're excited about that, and I'm definitely excited to see Kurt's playbook Sunday night. But before that, we're going to give out some best bets right now. Tyler, let's start for you. What is your best bet for the weekend, side, total, or prop?
We're going up to Detroit. Give me the Lions money line. I don't trust the Jags here off the big win. I think the Lions pound them here. Give me their money line at the plus money spot.
All right. Kurt, boy, there's two. JC, I can't resist talking about murder.
Oh my God.
Kurt, what's your best bet for today? Side total or prop?
Give me Bengals money line, and then also give me Nick Chubb 2 touchdowns, Cleveland to win.
Wow, we the people put that in the chat right when you said that, so you guys are aligned. And hey, in my experiences having we the people on our chat, anytime you lined up with him, you're doing pretty well because he does excellent NFL, NBA, and really on these player props. Always does a great job, just like Tyler, of targeting these player performance doubles. So Tyler, do you want to help me choose mine? I'm trying to decide between the Browns -7 and the Niners -3.5. Which do you think is a better one?
I think
they're both tough, huh? Both pretty appetizing.
I'm fine with the Browns -7.
I'll take the Browns
I feel like
-7.
it's less likely. Like if you were to categorize these as plays that could blow up in your face,
yeah,
the Miami San Fran one's definitely holding a live grenade.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Tyreek Hill could go nuts on me and ruin my life.
It could be the Baltimore game. You could look good after 3 quarters and be like, I got this in the bag. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy G throws a pick. There goes Tyreek Hill. The game's a 1-score game. And it's like, uh-oh, they're right here now.
Yeah. I would hate for Tyreek Hill to murder my bankroll, wouldn't I, JC? So there you have it. We're about to log off for about 2 to 3 minutes, grab AP, and come back for the NBA rundown. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Kurt, give us some words of wisdom before we get out of here.
Guys, I didn't really bring that much energy today. This World Cup just has me drained. There's so many sports going on, and then college basketball is ramping up. The boy's worn out, but I'm loving it. It's my favorite time of the year. So just know that I'm putting all the energy.
Well, the tan's looking great, though. I mean, you haven't skipped the tanning bed, have you?
I don't think so. So I ran before I came on the show, and every time I do it, my face is kind of like reddish and tan. So
okay, especially with the
the lighting's kind of
looking sharp there. I'm losing my tan now. I haven't been out hiking for a while, so
I don't like the sun.
Getting nice and pale. Yeah.
Fuck the sun.
All right. Do you want to give them a bonus USC Utah pick, Kurt?
Give me USC, man. I think they're destined to go to the playoff. Now, what they do once they get in it, I don't know. But I think Addison coming back and being healthy is huge for them. It sucks that they lost Travis Dye, but Jones has looked good. So give me USC.
All right, yeah, USC. That should be a fun one to.
But you know what? I will say that in that game, I think you're gonna go ahead and take the over. If it's gonna be USC, it's gonna be an over.
All right, yeah. Cool. I mean, not hard to get me to bet over in a Lincoln Riley game. So there you have it. That's Talking Touchdowns for this week. We'll be back in a couple minutes with the NBA rundown. RunPureSports.com, your best in sports gambling and daily fantasy information. Thank you for joining us. Run Pure.